Hey fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. We hope you are a Patreon patron, in which case you're getting this real time as soon as it's published. We also provide it real time to YouTube subscribers and to anyone who's a Amazon Prime member who links their Prime account to their Twitch Prime account. Now that last option is the cheapest. It costs you nothing. You're already paying for a Prime membership, so really easy to link to Twitch. So please follow the instructions in the show description below and get it linked, and then Shane can afford to keep driving out here. Cost of gasoline is killing him, so we need that $4 every 2 months out of you so Shane can afford a gallon of gas to get out of here. Let's get to today's question from Patreon, from Tarma. During the FTC trial over Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, it was revealed there are new games in development that are expected to cost $1 billion or more to develop. Is this at all sustainable? Even if a game is a massive hit, won't it struggle to turn a profit? Which franchises do you think could return a profit with $1 billion budget? I'm not sure that that's right. $1 billion is not a per game number unless we're talking about something like World of Warcraft that's expected to go for 20 years as a subscription. There's no way you're spending $1 billion on Grand Theft Auto. And the proof in that, again, it really depends on how you cost it. But let's just go with, Rockstar has something like 900 employees. I mean, then they do. And let's pretend they pay them more than $100,000 a piece, right? So that would be, let's say, $100 million a year. I hope I did that right. 1,000 times 100. Yeah, $100 million a year. So let's say Rockstar, $100 million a year. And this is as crazy as it gets, 900 employees only working on GTA for 10 years. The game last came out in 2013. You could get to $1 billion, okay? But you need that scale to get to $1 billion. Most game publishers, 200 employees. The big guys like Bungie, 400 employees. It's really hard to manage an organization with more than 400 employees. So worst case, I'd say any other publisher, 400 employees and 7-8 years. So you could maybe get to 40 million a year times 8 years, 320 million budget, 500 million budget. I just don't see $1 billion. Now, let's say in these court documents that they're talking about Fallout, which last came out in when did Fallout 4 come out? 2013, 2014. That could be 10 years, right? That could be 12. Let's go with 12. Let's go with 15. Let's say it's a 15-year development. There's no way the people working on Fallout are only working on Fallout. They worked on Starfield. They worked on Elder Scrolls. So even if you took Bethesda's entire headcount and said they worked on Fallout, which again is about 400 people, they didn't work on it nonstop for 15 years. You just don't get there. So I think the $1 billion is throwing out like all the different teams that work, because again in the Activision context, that work on Call of Duty Mobile, Call of Duty Warzone, Call of Duty Premium, and thinking about how all those teams work, including marketing and stuff. But again, on a game like Call of Duty that does probably around $2.5 billion a year, yes, you can afford to spend $1 billion developing the game. The rule of thumb on game development is that you can make a game work economically if you spend 20% of revenue on the game, okay? And revenue is net of the retail market share. So let's pretend a game does $2.5 billion retail revenue, right? Which would be about 40 million units or something. If it does $2.5 billion retail, it's $2 billion wholesale. And then the $2 billion, you can spend 20%, $400 million development costs. It makes no sense to spend $1 billion. You would never do it. And I guess it's like, same with movies. You would spend, roughly 50% of box office is the most you could afford to spend on a movie. And box office for the normal film is $250, so you'd spend $125, and you'll make it up in DVD sales and all the other stuff, all the other ways to distribute. You're not making a movie for $500 million if you only think it's going to do $250 million at box office. Avatar, which very likely cost $500 million, did way more than that. Did $2 billion in box office, made money. So the people who run these companies are business people. I don't expect that you would actually see anything that costs $1 billion. But again, Grand Theft Auto is the exception. If you include GTA Online, if you cost it out to include all the ongoing live service expense of running GTA Online, which I guarantee is $100 million a year. So GTA Online for 10 years all by itself is $1 billion, right? That makes sense. And I think when you look at how they're costing this stuff out, they're talking about the projected budget of running Call of Duty Mobile for 10 years and Warzone for 10 years, and creating each version of Call of Duty. But no way it's been $1 billion. UB has more employees than anybody. They have 12,000 employees, so they just don't spend. Skull and Bones might end up costing $1 billion because it's just been delay. UB, I don't understand what 12,000 people do, and they're really kind of unashamed about having 12,000 people. So, there's no way they have more than 1,000 or so in corporate. So the other 11,000 is probably 9,000 development people. I have no idea how they justify it. And again, They claim to be in low-cost countries, but they have more employees than Activision. UB's done under 2 billion euros in revenue the last couple of years. Activision does $8 billion, so under 2 billion euros is probably, let's give it credit, $2.5 billion. They're doing less than a third the revenue of Activision, and they have 30% more employees. That just makes no sense at all. If they were scaled the same way as Activision, they had 4,000 employees, maybe 3. Not 12. So, but they don't spend $1 billion on a game either. No way. No chance. Assassin's Creed, 2.5-year development cycle, at most 400 people, 100 million, 150 million. It's not more than that. Thanks for watching Pachter Factor. If you're a Patreon patron, we appreciate your patronage. You're getting this stuff real time. If you are a YouTube subscriber, you're also getting this real time. And if you don't have any money, but you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get us paid just by linking your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. The instructions on how to do that are in the show description below this picture. So get on that, please. And everybody else, including the guys above, follow me on Twitter. You're getting it a week later than the guys who actually pay or who took the effort and time to link their Prime accounts together. But at least follow me on Twitter, make me feel good. I've actually ticked up a couple hundred since I've been saying this, so let's see if I can keep it. I'll see you guys next time.